everyone is taught these lies when they go to school. But I won't go back to the ball. And anyone who doesn't look again must love the rulers. I won't go back to the ball. I can't believe that shit. 'Cause when you take a step back and look at it, everything they show you is CGI. Gotta ask yourself why.
And you're studying mechanical engineering?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you hope to do with that, by the way, when you qualify?
That's a good question. I don't know what I want to do. It's probably part of the reason I'm having to retake 40. Because I just don't really know what's going to happen afterwards. I don't know. I have no idea, really. Sorry.
Okay. So do you think you're being told the truth about the world in which you live in?
Well, yeah, I mean, I get told truths about the world I live in every day, but I probably also get told a bunch of lies about it, but... Well, I don't know. That's a kind of weird question, difficult one to answer quickly.
I'm asking you a few weird questions.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to have to sort of sit and think about them for a little bit. Do I think I've been told... What was it? Do I think I've been told...
Do you think you've been informed and getting the truth about the world in which you live in?
Yeah, but I think I am quite well self-informed. Like, I think I'm quite good at picking out the bullshit.
Discerning.
Yeah.
Could you tell me where you get most of your information then about the world?
Online, most of it. I mean, I read a few magazines. Just experience, really. I think just life experience is where I learn my shit.
And is that information come from, say, like mainstream media, or do you resource alternative media? Or?
Oh, I mean, I flick onto BBC News every now and then. I go on the Times every now and then. I read a bit of the New Scientist. That's like, and then Reddit, which I think is probably the main source of information for my age group. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong there. But
I think when I was your age, I used to read the Economist and the New Scientist.
Yeah, I think that's another one I keep meaning to pick up. But
they've been going on
at the time lately.
They've been going for years, haven't they?
Oh yeah, and I trust that. I trust them. Yeah, I'd say I trust a magazine like The Economist.
Yeah. Would you say you trust authority then? All authority?
No, I don't trust people just because they're in an authoritative position. Right. Yeah, I'd say like in a job, quite often I guess. Let me think how to say this. I do sometimes say just why. It's like, why do you want me to do this? Sometimes I'm quite happy to just do what you ask me to do. And then sometimes I just stand and think, why are we doing this? The person seems like the person above me just hasn't really thought about it long enough. So,
would you say you're using your independent critical thinking at that point?
Oh yeah, no, I'm an independent thinker completely.
Yeah. So, how can you verify what's true then if you've been given second-hand information? Do you think?
How can I verify what's true? Well, you check it, don't you?
Yeah.
Or if you think it's come from a reliable enough source, then I believe it. If I don't, then I don't believe it.
Right. So do you trust science that is always 100%
no.
honest and accurate?
No. I think it's a lot better now, but it's so easy to create a reason for something happening in your head, so that that could not at all be the real reason for it happening. It could be completely random, but you need a reason for it happening, because that's kind of how we are. We need reasons for why things happen. So we come up with them. They might be completely wrong. I kind of forgotten what the question was now.
Do you believe in authority and if it's 100% true and factual?
I mean, yeah, we probably... I believe that, if someone's got to a position of authority, they're probably there for some kind of reason. But, they could quite easily have just lied their way to the top, so...
Yeah.
You've got to make your own... build your own opinion.
Have you heard the phrase, the winners write the history books?
Oh yeah, that's a fun one, isn't it?
Yes, it is. So
it kind of sucks.
Are we being told the truth about history or not? Or how much of it is propaganda and how much of it is accurate? So, but we just believe it without really knowing for sure if it's accurate or not. So with Earth that we live on, what shape do you think it is?
It's almost spherical. Like it's a bit squashed between the poles. It's not flat. That's my opinion.
Have you heard much about this discussion about the shape of the Earth online?
I know there are people that think the Earth is flat, and I think they're just rejecting a whole lot of evidence against it. Because they want to believe the Earth is flat.
Yeah. I mean, would you really want to know the truth of something, or if somebody was suggesting to you what you've been told is not the truth, would you be willing to listen or to be open to that?
I'd want to be corrected if I was wrong, but...
And are you open enough to be corrected, do you think?
Yeah. But I'm also not really... Well, people can get very, very sort of into an idea, and they'll just block out all the information contrary to it, because they don't want to. They want to believe the Earth is flat, and hear all the reasons why it is, and I'm going to ignore all the reasons why it isn't.
I quite agree with you, but could that not be said for the other argument as well?
Completely be said the other way around. Yeah. Completely.
So I'm just going to say a few things here to see if it can jar you thinking to perhaps maybe what I've been told is not the truth. Now, when I first came across this, as I said previously before I started filming, I thought it was a bit ridiculous, so I went and researched it and looked into it. Now, I've had a lifetime of being told through science and other education establishments and the media, government, NASA, exactly the shape of the Earth. But I've come across so much contradictory evidence, and I think if you have to be informed in the subject, you really have to know both sides of the argument. And I think we've been socially conditioned to accept one side and not know the other. So I was asked, is that being informed, or is that just believing everything we're told? And I had to be honest with myself and say, everything I know about space travel, distant planets and the shape of the Earth is a belief, because I have no direct evidence or primary observations that it's a ball.
Alright, so it's like faith, like a faith in God.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, could I ask you if that's the same with you then, if you have any direct experience or evidence, or is it a faith or a belief? Experience
or evidence of what?
That you're living on a sphere.
Spherical. I mean, no, but I could go and do a test myself if I wanted to prove that it was.
Yeah, and what sort of test would you do?
Stick a stick in the ground, measure the angle of the shadow, and then you walk a couple of 1,000 miles in one direction, or north or south, stick a stick in the ground again, same day of the year, we're in the same place in space, well, relative to where the sun and Earth is, different shadow, different angle. Why?
What if I said that would work on a flat plane as well?
Yeah, I think it would. Well, it depends, I guess, how the... Okay, so that one works. Let's go with a different one. What's at the end? I mean, why has no one seen the end? I mean, there's just too many questions, aren't there?
Yeah, absolutely. Don't get me wrong. I would love people to come along and prove to me that I live in a sphere, and then I throw out all this nonsense of flat Earth.
Yeah.
But I have no evidence that we live in a ball. Now,
but why flat then? Why not? Why don't we live in a bowl? Why don't we live
We could be.
on a mountain, floating through space? I mean, why flat?
The only reason I fall towards that is that we're told that the Earth is covered by 70% water. Now, if you observe water, it's more or less level. It finds its own level. So we've got 70% of that on a ball. So that doesn't equate with my brain. That how can that be on a ball if 70% of it is flat water?
I don't know, some weird force called gravity.
It's a kind of magic. It's a kind of magic.
Yeah. Now, I don't mean be disrespectful here.
Sorry, yeah, that did sound a bit disrespectful.
No. I don't
the
mean,
way I said that.
No, I don't think you
was
were.
Slightly
Well, I'm just saying.
confrontational. Let's say.
No, that's completely okay. But I don't want to appear disrespectful.
No, not at all. It's
because I used to believe that. Yeah, gravity. But I would suggest that both you and I in school around the age of 5 had some questions about when we were told we live in a ball, and every answer was gravity. Now, they could have said cabbage to me at that age, and I wouldn't have known any different. So, up till maybe 3 years ago, I never questioned that. I never seriously questioned it.
So why don't I just say cabbage, and you can't question it because you don't understand it and you've got no proof? Cabbage is what is holding all that water there.
My independent critical thinking...
You can't disprove that, can you?
No, my independent critical thinking hasn't developed, so I can't really challenge or disprove that, can I, at 5?
No, but you could now.
Yes, I could. Okay, if that claim was made, I would say, well, where is the evidence for cabbage or gravity?
Well, where's the evidence for the world being flat?
Well, I've conducted some
Have you got
experiments
pictures
myself.
of it? I mean, we've got more evidence for it being spherical, haven't we?
Yeah.
Close to spherical.
Could you,
But sorry, yeah, go on. Keep
could
going.
you tell me what they are?
Well, I just know that every argument I'm going to come up with, you've already thought it through. Like, I haven't imagined myself having an argument with a flat earther. So, and you already know what arguments I have. I'm just a regular person. I'm not going to be able to come up with a better argument than any other regular person.
I'm just a regular person as well.
Okay, but you're a regular person who interviews people about their opinion on whether the earth is flat or round.
And
now, you've had these conversations how many times?
About 50.
Okay, so you know pretty much every answer now. And so you know how to argue against all of them.
Yeah, but my point is not to argue and to prove my point. Is to explore your thinking and to put suggestions to what you've already been told, and to see how open you are to that, and to see if there's any validity of what I'm saying. That's all.
There completely is. Like, let me try and think of how to put things.
Can I ask you that?
Yeah,
is this making you feel uncomfortable?
No, not at all.
Okay.
No, not at all.
Because I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable.
No, not. Well, I mean, I'm not particularly brilliant on stage, so being on a camera is probably quite a similar thing. But yeah, I just let me. What was I thinking? I can't remember where we are now.
What have I told you? All these images you have of Earth from space are not photographs.
Okay, well, what are they then?
The guy who creates the Blue Marble shot every year is called Robert Simmons, and you can listen to him on a radio show on YouTube, and he's saying that they're not photographs, they're Photoshop.
Okay.
Because they have to be.
Yeah, because you're never going to get that few clouds on Earth.
No.
Or something silly like that.
There's no actual 24/7 footage of the Earth revolving.
No.
And there's never any stars in these pictures, and you never see rapid cloud formations going in different directions.
No, okay, so yeah, I mean, coming back to, I guess, what your main topic is the whole, like, perception of reality.
Yes.
Is just, like, your perception of reality. We all perceive things differently. How do I know that the grass over there that's green for me is not actually red for you?
Yeah, that's great. So we're talking about very basic observations and self-evident truths. Now, unless you're colourblind, we could ask everybody in the world walking past here, and
you wouldn't be able to.
Would agree it was green.
Yeah, but you wouldn't know that they were seeing the same green as you.
True. Yes. True. Yeah.
But does it even matter?
Well, with me it wouldn't be, because I am colourblind, so it would be a different shade of green, I suppose. Yeah. But there is some self-evident truths that we can all agree on, isn't there?
Such as?
I mean, they're very objective truths, like fire is hot, water is wet, So we can observe these ourselves and agree that they're self-evident truths.
But what would a being whose body temperature was 5,000 degrees Celsius, fire to them would be pretty cool.
Yeah,
it's all about perception.
Yeah,
it's your frame of reference.
That one is, because I couldn't verify exactly what its temperature is, because I couldn't be inside his body, or I'd have to rely on somebody else taking his temperature and being truthful about it. Yeah, I can't verify that, and it's not a self-evident truth, but there are self-evident truths that we can start on the basis. And I'm just putting to you that I was quite shocked when I found out there was no actual photographs of Earth spinning as a ball. Do you think I'm crazy for even having this conversation?
No, I don't. I think you've fallen into a hole and you're trying to climb out. You want someone to come along and give you the ladder that will get you out of the idea that Earth is flat hole.
Yeah.
And maybe it's the other way around. Maybe I'm the one in the hole and you're trying to hand me a ladder.
I'd like to think that's what it is.
Yeah, you would.
But I'm also open to the fact that I might be in the hole, and I would say, please give me that ladder, because I don't want to be following something that's not true. I really want the truth, whether it's difficult or not. I want the truth, and I've already admitted that I was wrong. What do you think I'm wrong in doing that? I stood up and said, well, I've been fooled, I've been wrong, I had no evidence, I've had a belief, I've just believed everything I've been told all my life. And now, as an adult, using my critical thinking, I'm starting to question what I'm being told. And I'm questioning, well, what's the evidence that we live in a ball? Now you mentioned gravity, but the theory of gravity has never been proven. Density and buoyancy explains why things fall. And the whole of science with the heliocentric model is built on gravity, that water can exist on a ball. I mean, to me now as an adult, that's completely insane that the water can revolve around the ball.
But I mean, does it not make sense? I mean,
if I observe water in nature, the behaviour of water, it always finds its own level. It does not conform to
because we're on a massive ball of rock that is attracting all the water to that surface. It's like a frame of reference thing, isn't it? You can look at the world and you can see flat water, but it's not flat. You're just too small.
But what?
To an ant, the world is flat, and it just walks along. But we can see that the world isn't flat. It's got trees all around it,
it's
and
got
buildings built up, and then you zoom out even further, and suddenly we can see that we're the ants on a flat plane, which is actually a sphere.
Yeah, but the sphere part of it, it's just I'm looking for evidence, because nobody's seen the curvature. Nobody feels the spin.
What do you mean no one's seen the curvature? Yes, we have.
Have you seen the curvature?
No.
Well, neither have I. But I'm told it's there.
Okay. But you're just saying nobody's seen it, as if that's a fact.
Yeah, I'd say that is a fact. Yeah.
I wouldn't.
All right.
I think people have. I don't think these people have any reason to lie to me. So why shouldn't I believe them?
Well, I think, we can take it as, okay, that makes logical sense, we can accept that, but to actually believe it's actually factual, then I need evidence, before I actually accept it as a fact. And unless I've got observable evidence that I can see for myself, then I don't think I should believe it. I can say maybe stay in a halfway house with it, and not discount it, but to actually believe it's a fact, then would you not agree science has to be demonstrable, measurable?
Oh, where's the microphone gone? We lost it. Sorry, that may be buggered.
Was that deliberate?
No, I promise. I don't know when that happened.
Yeah.
Sorry, can you repeat that one?
Yeah. Would you not agree with me, though, science has to be demonstrable, repeatable and measurable before we accept it as a fact?
Yeah, well, that's the basis of science, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I would think so,
checked by your peers, repeatable.
To demonstrate that gravity actually exists, or a working model of a ball with water going around it. But they can't reproduce that.
Okay, how why is it then that the round Earth model is so much more widely accepted than the flat Earth model?
Well, I would suggest it's because people aren't using the critical thinking. They just accept what they're told.
I don't know. I don't think that's true. I don't.
I suppose
Okay, well then how come? Okay, so how come when you present people with the possibility that it could be flat, why do people reject it so strongly then?
They do, don't they?
Yeah.
And having done these interviews, I find there's quite a few people who are quite open to it and willing to go off and look into any links I give them, and others are completely stoic and will not even contemplate the idea that they may have been told lies about where they live. Are you familiar with cognitive dissonance?
Yeah.
I mean, I think part of that is that they believe something all their life, and somebody comes along and suggests something else, and they just dismiss it without any inquiry, like we were talking about earlier about lunacy. They don't look into it and they dismiss it because they think it's crazy. But most people who go into research the subject come out knowing that they're being lied to, because they have two
most
sides.
People, okay.
Yeah, they become more informed in the subject because they have two sides of the argument. We've been socially conditioned with the heliocentric model for most of our lives, and then we go into research the subject and look for evidence and look at alternative explanations, and we realise, it's all a lie. This space travel, distant planets, and this science fiction that we've been brought up with, that's all to socially condition us to believe that we live in a ball. Aliens, meteors, go through space, and space travel. Do you know this?
Why though?
Big pun?
Why?
To make you believe you live in a ball.
Why? Why do we need to be made to believe that we live in a ball?
Well, I don't really have the answer to that, but I can surmise to why it might be.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it doesn't really matter, does it? Why? Just they've done it.
Yeah.
For whatever nefarious reason that we could never even comprehend why.
Absolutely. I would say that if you see a leaf,
an easy argument.
If you see a leaf on the grass over there, now one of those leaves, if you're told that's Earth, a ball, that's where you live on, you're not going to look for or be aware of all this other land here, because in your mind you think you live in a ball, so you're not going to go east, west and look for further land. You're going to look up there to space. So that, I would suggest that's like a mind precedent, that we're contained on this imaginary ball, so we won't step over that line because we think it doesn't exist. Could that be a possibility, do you think?
It could be a possibility, but it's unlikely, I think. I mean, how certain are you that the Earth is flat?
I'm absolutely certain that we are not living on a spinning ball. I can't be 100% certain that I'm on a flat surface, but I'm completely certain that it's not a spinning ball.
You can't prove something that's... You can't... Can you prove a hypothesis? No, sorry, I'm getting it the wrong way around. It's that you can't prove something to be true, you can only prove it to be false.
Yes, I could prove you haven't got two heads. Now, I was told that boats do not go over the curvature. Do you believe they go over the curvature on the horizon?
Curvature? What do you mean, like they'll go over the horizon and you won't be able to see them?
Yeah, do you believe they're going below the curvature?
Slightly further around the Earth, I understand that. That's fairly basic.
And so did I, to be fair. But then I'd go out to the beach. Sorry, I'm repeating myself on here.
No, go for it. It's fine, I've got all the time in the world.
Okay, thanks very much. I was with my friend on the beach, and we both agreed that boat looks like it's going over the curvature, because you can hardly see it right out of your perspective. So I had a telescope with me and this zoom camera, so I gave them both to my friend. I said, have a look at that boat through this. Now, both times you've seen the whole of the boat come back into view, so you cannot see through a telescope and look over a curvature. So at that point anyway, it was proving that boat did not go over the curvature. It simply went out of my line of perspective. It's like parallel lines coming to a point in the horizon.
Could quite easily. Could it not be something to do with light refracting through a curved medium? As in, the atmosphere is curved, the light hits the boat and it sort of angles a bit. I don't know. I wouldn't be able to explain it, but that seems like if that actually happened, then that's the first way that I would try and explain it. But there you go, there's me trying to come up with a reason for why something happens, because that's what we are.
It's quite a good logical reason as well.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't come up with an illogical reason, or at least I wouldn't come up with a reason that would be illogical to me.
Yeah.
Though it might sound completely illogical to you.
Yeah.
I mean, does that sound like it could be true?
Yeah, it could be. I would have to say I don't know. It could be, but I've been told that light bends, but I don't believe it does. It can reflect off something, yes, but I don't believe a laser or light can bend round a curve, and that's never been proven.
No, it can't, but it can bend along a path, just like a marble will turn around a corner rather than just going straight through the turn.
Have you seen any evidence of that?
I've seen marbles running along tracks. Yeah, I made marble runs when I was a kid.
Yes, sorry, a light going around the corner.
No. I'm saying that the medium in which the light is moving is bent, so that the light has to travel through what it looks like from the light's perspective. From the light's perspective, it's travelling in a straight line. From our perspective, it's travelling in a curve.
You're talking like, let's say, if a light went in a tunnel going around the corner, that light would go right round, would it?
No.
All right.
No, it would hit the wall, bounce off. I'm talking about.
That's refraction, isn't it? That's
reflection. I'm talking about. I'm not sure if you're understanding. I'm saying that from the light's perspective, it would be travelling in a straight line.
Right.
Because the medium in which it's travelling, the whatever it is inside of, let's say, a bit of air that's, I don't know, like I haven't done physics in frickin' ages, so I'm trying to remember exactly how it is that light bends as soon as it hits some glass.
Yeah, I get all that, bending from glass and reflective surfaces, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so you're walking over a hill, and it's way too big a hill for you to even notice it's a hill. So you think you're just walking in a straight line.
Right.
But you're actually walking up and down. You haven't gone in a straight line, but you're incapable of perceiving that you haven't travelled in a straight line. To you, it was a straight line. That's what's going on with the light. It's... I don't know. I don't think this is a very good argument, to be honest.
No, I mean, I'm open to all that, and I'm open to looking at that. But I suppose, being in this subject, the thing that comes up to me, whatever someone tells me on any subject, my first question is to say, where is the evidence? You know, because I don't want to live my life on beliefs. I want evidence. If I can use your personal experience being an engineer. Now, the biggest bridge in the world in China, the Dangyang Bridge, is 100 miles long. Now, they don't take in the curvature of the Earth when they're building the bridge. Now the Earth is supposed to slope at 8 inches per mile squared. So that would be a physical impossibility on a ball. And like the Suez Canal, 100 miles long, canals are built on a flat level surface, because that's how canals operate. So to me, big questions arise, and I think, well, how on earth could that be possible if the Earth is a ball?
Engineers are clever.
Yes, they are clever, but I don't think they can...
I think, again, is it not just the fact that it's such an imperceptibly small thing that even over what we perceive to be big distances, it's still such a small, basically negligible effect that we don't need to take it into account.
I totally thought that as well, but then I learned that the Earth is 25,000 miles circumference, not that big, and it's 18 inches per mile squared drop. Now, over 100 miles, I can't remember what it is, but it's almost like a mile drop in curvature over 100 miles.
Sorry, what was the 18 inches per mile?
It's 8 inches per mile squared, so by 3 miles you're talking about 73 inches.
8 inches per per mile squared.
Yeah.
So if I'm standing in the centre of a square mile and I go to one of the corners, it's going to be 8 inches lower.
Yes.
By.
That's the official figures that we're given.
Yeah. That's so then
if you look at the table, it's roughly about a mile off our drop for a 100-mile distance. So how on earth could they build a bridge without taking into consideration the curvature there? And the fact that they don't then raises huge questions for me, thinking, well, wait a minute here.
They just didn't need to. They must have built it in a way that meant they didn't need to.
Yeah, but I don't understand how they can do that.
Well, you can build a table, can't you?
Sorry?
You can build a table without taking into consideration. You can put a ruler on top of a ball, and that's a flat surface on a sphere, on top of a spherical surface. They don't have to follow the curvature of the Earth. They could just go from, say, here to here. Wow.
But then
I mean,
the canal would be sticking up, wouldn't it? It'd be sticking up into space. Like the ruler's not following the curvature of the ball.
Only if they started, let's say you got the ball and you start at the top and they just kept building straight.
Uh-huh.
What's stopping them from building like that? The Earth isn't completely flat.
No,
around on its entire surface.
True.
Like you could build from a mountain to another mountain.
Yeah, I accept that. Yeah, but then water.
I don't know enough about the bridge to be able to.
I thought you might know about being an engineer.
Sorry.
All right. But the engineers that I've asked, they say they don't take into the curvature of the Earth. Now water has to be level for it to remain level. That's how canals work.
Oh, I thought we were talking about a bridge.
Yeah, a bridge as well.
We're getting it mixed up.
Sorry, the Suez.
That's all right. Yeah, let's talk about the Suez Canal.
The water has to be level.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it would just flow.
Okay, but the water isn't flat, is it? It's curved.
No, it's completely flat. The water. I mean,
well, bodies of water. Okay, in your flat Earth model, yes, they are. But in your round Earth model. In my round Earth model, bodies of water aren't flat, they're curved.
Yeah. And could I ask you, have you ever seen curved water?
Yes, I have.
Lying at rest?
Lying at rest?
Because you see...
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a ball of water in zero gravity. And that...
Yeah, well,
that's spherical.
I've seen that as well, but then...
And if I was a bacteria in that sphere of water, then if I was on the surface, it would look flat. Yeah. It's just a... frame. It's about how big you are.
But how do you know those images are actually factual, rather than special effects or green screen?
Because why? Why bother?
Well, if they're bothering to go to great lengths to tell you live in a ball, I'm sure that's not going to be very difficult for them.
But they're not trying to. These aren't people that are trying to convince me that the Earth is a ball. They're trying to convince me of some other interesting scientific phenomenon. That has nothing to do with the Earth being flat or round. It's just,
yeah, that's me surmising why they're doing it. So yeah.
But they're not. It's not part of their agenda. I don't think. I don't think everyone's either. I'm trying to convince everyone that the Earth is flat, or I'm trying to convince everyone the Earth is round. The vast majority of people just, accept the ruling opinion that the Earth is round and go on with their lives.
Yeah,
because it doesn't matter and it makes no difference to them.
Well, I thought that, but then I find out that NASA, the amount of money they get, amount of billions per year. Now, if I'm right in that they're not even in space and they're presenting us with cartoons and CGI, they're taking all that taxpayers' money. And I look at the starving people around the world, the people who are dying, and I think that good causes that money could be used for. But no, they're stealing the taxpayers' money.
So you think nothing good has come out of NASA?
No,
I know you're not saying that, but
no. Absolutely.
What do you think they have achieved then?
Well, they do scientific experiments here on Earth, and they have created technologies and advanced rocket systems and weaponry. Absolutely, they've done all that. But there's no evidence of a rocket in space. There's no evidence of a satellite in space.
We've stood and watched well, I haven't personally, but people have seen rockets being fired into space.
Yep.
Haven't they?
Well, fired.
Yeah.
Did it go into space? I would ask you for your critical question. Why?
I can't answer that. I can't know whether or not it has happened, but I
No, you
trust the people that.
Yeah. So
I have no reason not to believe that any of these things happened.
So it's an actual belief then, rather than scientific knowledge.
No, it's not, because my beliefs are based on scientific knowledge.
Okay. Can I ask you do you ever ask why there's not a camera on that rocket showing you the complete journey from takeoff to the International Space Station?
Maybe ask them to next time. Maybe they will. I don't know.
Yeah, but
I guess
if you're an
just
astronaut,
not really any point in doing it. I mean, they've.
Don't you think that'd be amazing to see, at least? Leaving the Earth's atmosphere, travelling through space, and arriving at the International Space Station. Don't you think? You know, people film things quite mundane.
Do you
things.
have any knowledge of aerospace and aeronautical engineering? Let's say, like maybe we can't even comprehend of the questions we need to ask.
True,
Why it is that they don't do these things. Like, why don't they do these things? It might seem really, really stupid to us why they don't just do that. But to someone who actually has the experience and understands how the system works, which we don't understand how it works at all,
Yeah.
we can't just... They might be like, well, it's obviously not going to work because of this. You know, putting a camera on the outside of a rocket could do something like... I mean, firstly, it's expensive, so why do it? NASA's not just throwing money away. They don't get that much funding. They get about, a couple of percent compared to the US military's funding?
Yeah, it's not as big as the military funding, but it's the second biggest funding going. I don't know what it is. Billions a year they get, like 67 billion. I'm not sure
I have no
what
idea.
it is. But I would ask you again to think about why they've not done this. I'm filming you here with a camera. Now I can turn and do a 360.
Yeah.
Now on the moon they never did a 360 turn. A spacewalk they never do a 360.
Well, maybe they just didn't think that people would question, did we go to the moon? I mean, maybe they thought, why would people want to ask those questions? Why wouldn't people want to believe that we went to the moon?
Do you ever climb mountains?
Yeah, I've been up a few hills, on a mountain or two.
Well, I would say the majority of people who get to the top, they do a 360 with the camera, and they go, "Wow, look at this." Now, if you go into the moon, a huge adventure, the biggest adventure ever in history, and I never thought to, "Oh, wow, turn around and look at this." Do you think that's a bit suspect, at least?
No.
No.
I don't think one person not doing a 360-degree turn makes it more likely that the Earth is flat.
Yeah, but don't you think it's something they should have done? The amount of times the
I mean, I don't really think that that's what they were there for. Why were they there, really? I guess just to prove that they could do it. But,
do you know how a rocket propels itself in space?
Just eject gas.
But there's nothing to push off, is there?
Don't need to. It's equal and opposite reaction. I throw something that way, there's an equal and opposite force back that way, but I mean, it's my arm in this scenario.
Is that not because you're in an atmosphere rather than a vacuum?
Not at all. It's not. It's to do with momentum. It's completely that. I can explain it to you if you want, but I know for a fact. I'm 100% certain that I'm right on this. That if I was in a vacuum and I was sitting in a boat in a vacuum, and I had a big weight floating next to me in space, and I pushed that away from me, either that thing would move that way and I would move that way. That's how momentum works, isn't it? Can you tell me I'm wrong?
No, I can't. I've never been to space, so...
Well, I haven't either, but I understand basic concepts of physics. Like that is... I don't understand how you could argue that that's not what would happen.
Well, I don't know, because I've never experienced being in a vacuum.
See, that is an interesting thing.
And I've taken it on secondary information.
I guess this is something I guess we've just found a topic that I am very much entrenched in. Took a while, but we got there. Momentum.
I'm willing to listen. I'm willing to be proven wrong, but I just think that's a very difficult thing to convince someone of without actually having a vacuum and experiencing the vacuum. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying, well, okay, I'm listening to what you're saying.
Just from modelling it in my head, though, it's so obvious what happens. So present me with an opposing theory, and I can start to try and believe it. I read something interesting the other day, which was like to understand something, you have to first believe it. So if you present me with this idea that the Earth is flat, to understand what you're talking about, I have to just very briefly believe it to be true, so that I can actually implement it. How would I say this? So that I can understand it. Like, if I just said no, it's not true, it can't be true, then I wouldn't think about it at all, and it would just be another. I don't know. It would just be another thing that I don't believe, and I've passed on. But it's actually in this book that I've got in my bag. But I can't be able to find it. Come on, let's move on, because I've forgot my train of thought's gone a bit.
It's difficult to recall certain things at that time. I know. Another question about the space thing that I and many others struggle with: two pressure systems, a positive pressure system in the atmosphere, which dilutes the higher up you go, coexisting next to a negative pressure system of a vacuum. Now, I don't understand how that can happen without a solid barrier.
I don't think you can have negative pressure. Relative to another pressure, it could be negative, but you can't have a negative pressure. There's either no pressure or there is pressure. I can apply pressure to this bench, but I can't. By negative pressure would be me not applying pressure to it, and I can't apply anything less than 0. So
what about neutral pressure then? Vacuum being a neutral pressure system next to a positive pressure system, coexisting together. I mean, I don't understand why they can remain separate without a solid barrier there. While it's spinning round 1,000 miles an hour and then 67,000 miles around the sun.
Just because it can. I mean,
is there any explanation for that though?
Yeah, there is. There's got to be. I mean, we are here, so we have to have an explanation for it. That's the whole basis of religion. We are here. Why are we here? A lot of people just say we're here because we can be.
Why do you think we're here?
Because we can be. Well, it's either because we can be, i.e., it's the universe is a big place. Life is eventually going to pop up somewhere. Whether or not the creation of life, not divine creation, but life appearing is rare, or whether it's intelligent life appearing that's rare, I don't know. But God, we're getting completely sidetracked again. You got
for explanation for the two systems coexisting together.
Yeah,
I mean, I've not heard any explanation for that.
Yeah, no, I'll have a go at that one.
Can you understand
why can the Earth? Why can we exist in? Why can a thin film of atmosphere protect us from? Well, it just happened, didn't it? How it came to be is not necessarily completely understood, but how it is and currently functions, I think, is something that is better understood. So what's more important?
I mean, see, the Big Bang and evolution, they're both beliefs, aren't they? They're both the same.
Yeah, but one is founded on a lot of research and backed up by a fair amount of evidence. We can't know what happened before the Big Bang or how it happened. And I'm not saying that I believe that entirely that theory. Like, is it not just as likely that this is all just one big simulation?
Yeah. Well,
and then in that case there would be a god, but it wouldn't be. It wouldn't be some big. I mean, it would be some big almighty person, but it would just be another person. From his perspective, he'd just be a guy that created a simulation.
Yeah. I mean, did you ever see the film The Truman Show?
Yeah, I think about that fairly often. It's a weird movie.
Yeah.
bit. I sort of,
Did you ever see the film Capricorn 1?
no, I've not even heard of it. What is
I
it?
know, it's a brilliant film. It's very well acted and good story. I'll just quickly tell you, I think early 1970s, and it was after the moon landings. But there's 3 astronauts in a rocket and they're going off to Mars. And there's a knock on the doors before takeoff, and they're ordered to leave. It's an emergency. So the 3 astronauts are put in a waiting room, and there's a television there, and they see the rocket taking off, and they're wondering what's going on. And it's explained to them later that, I can't remember what reason they give, but we can't go to Mars. So you're going to have to go through with this. And they had a studio set lined up, and the rocket there.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to go through and lie. So they were struggling with this, giving live feeds apparently back to their families, and they're lying. So they escaped. And they had to go off in 3 different directions because they knew if they were found, they would be killed. So it's a beautiful film, and it's well acted and directed. Now you have to ask, well, where did they get that idea from? Soon after the moon landings. But I would put it to you, that's exactly what happened with the moon landings, because it was all filmed in a studio, and like I said, nobody did a 360 turn, and the lighting, there's so much evidence to show that it never happened. All the lighting from different angles, it should only be one light, and NASA are now admitting they lost all the technology and how to get to the moon, that they can't return there. They've lost all the footage.
No, I don't believe that.
Well, that's what NASA are claiming.
No, I don't believe that they're claiming that.
All right, because they've had.
I don't believe that they're claiming they can't go. They don't have the technology to go to the moon anymore.
Well, I implore you to research that on the internet, and you'll see them actually saying that. They think.
What,
I mean, it's insulting my intelligence.
What does that?
It's stupid.
How do you just lose 40 years worth of technology?
Good question.
I'd go to the moon in a nanosecond. The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it back again. But going to Mars should be one of the next series of steps that humans do. The first step should be going back to the moon for a number of technical reasons and exploration reasons, and then after that, Mars, maybe a high orbit in Venus atmosphere, maybe going to Europa. There's all kinds of targets to go to, places of interest in our solar system. The only limit to human future is in our own imagination.
Yeah, the thing we're so dumbed down and stupid. I don't know if you ever seen, there was a press conference when they were putting a probe into space, and the live press reporters were asking them questions. Well, how was the takeoff? How did it go? Well, it's good. They give no technical information to any of the questions.
Okay, but
because they're actors.
what kind of technical information are you looking for?
Well, I can't remember the technical information that the reporters were asking for. They couldn't answer, and they kept referring to, well, that's John's department. Is John in the room? No, he's not here at the moment. Well, I'll move on to the next question. It's an insult to my intelligence with them telling us they lost all the technical advancements.
No, I don't believe that they said that, though. I don't believe that they said that, and I don't believe that that's happened.
Okay, we'll leave it there, but I implore you to go and research that on the internet.
The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it back again.
What exactly are they claiming? That they just lost?
Yeah.
What? If they misplaced something, what did they misplace?
Yeah, well, they obviously have a hard drive of technology and engineering aspects and how to get to the moon.
Right.
The technological aspects of it. They've lost that, you see.
Okay, well, why can't they just do it again?
Good question.
You know, that's not really... No, but this is what I'm saying. That seems like such a stupid argument.
But NASA do give us stupid arguments.
What, it looks like he's wearing a harness with a cable going up the top.
Now, would you mind going to a defensive mode there and defend that, or would you mind saying, well, that is at least a little bit suspect?
I'd say, how do I know you're not now showing me just edited footage?
Yeah, I could be. Yes, absolutely.
Really?
Yeah.
But you know, I'd also say I don't know what he's wearing. I don't know anything about life on the ISS, so I have no idea that could be something completely normal.
Well, they do tell us that they're floating in zero gravity, so they can fly around in the background. But they're all wearing harnesses.
They're all well, you just saw one guy for a split second wearing what vaguely looked like it could be a harness, and you're now saying that they're all wearing harnesses.
Well, I showed you one, but I can show you many of like when they're bending down and the polo shirts have been pulled up in 2 points.
Okay.
Now, it's just so much of that to at least say it is a wee bit suspect at the very least.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Would you not say
yeah. You could say it's suspicious.
Yeah.
It doesn't make me suspicious, but if you find it suspicious, then it's suspicious to you.
Could I ask you why you wouldn't think that was suspicious?
Because I don't know enough.
Possibly be a harness.
Why?
If it was a harness, would it not be a bit
Because
suspicious?
I don't know enough. I don't. Generally, I try not to talk out my ass. If I don't know enough about something, I'm not gonna start like arguing this way or that.
Although I'd hope we were having a discussion though and not going to a direct argument.
Sorry?
I'd hope we were having discussions rather than arguing.
Yeah, but you can't discuss something and disagree on a point and not argue one way or the other. What are you saying? Are you saying that an argument is just a heated discussion?
No, it's trying to persuade the other one to see your point of view.
What is the difference between a discussion and an argument?
Well, I think you can have a respectful disagreement. I think you can leave it there and say, okay, fair enough. You don't believe that and I believe this. Mm-hmm. Well, what's the point of arguing over it if you firmly believe the opposite to me? I don't see the point.
When does a discussion become an argument then?
I think it's when you go beyond that point and you're adamant to make the other person believe what you believe.
Okay.
Rather than respecting where that person is.
Yeah.
Okay. And I've talked to you for quite some time, and I respect the fact that you still believe you live in a heliocentric model, and I don't, and that's fine. I can respect that. And I'm just hoping you'll go away from here and you'll research what I've said about NASA saying they've lost the technology and how to get to the moon.
Oh yeah, no, I'm definitely going to look up that. It sounds really funny.
And there's no real photographs of Earth. And there's no 24/7
there
video
are photographs
evidence.
of Earth. There's this really nice story about. I think maybe it wasn't when we went to the moon. Maybe it was just another trip into space. But they weren't the astronaut on board. I can't remember his name. He wasn't planning on. They weren't going to take a picture of the Earth, but he just sort of saw it and took a picture. And that picture was the first picture of Earth, and it made.
Oh.
It had quite a. I can't remember. God, I've read this too long ago. It had an interesting impact, just very briefly, on the social climate of the world. People, more sort of charitable organisations for certain types of. Certain types of things. That sounds just horribly vague, doesn't it? I don't know, it changed people's view a little bit.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
A strong effect. I can't remember why I was making that point though. I guess that is just a picture of Earth. That's a round picture of Earth.
But would you agree with me that the images are not proof of anything then? I could show you a photograph of Loch Ness Monster.
Yeah, you could.
Would you believe it?
But, no.
Photoshop is so advanced now that they can show you a picture of Mickey Mouse on a rocket going around Venus and it looks real. So.
Yeah, Photoshop is very advanced now,
yeah.
But it wasn't 60 years ago. We didn't even have the internet 60 years ago.
No, absolutely. There's quite a prominent figure in the flat Earth scene who's an artist. He wears a T-shirt with the Earth, picture of the Earth on it, and he asks people in the public and said, a photo or a painting. The majority of people say it's a photo, there's an actual painting. So there are realist artists out there in the 60s, in the 50s, who could paint a realistic looking Earth.
Oh yeah, certainly. Yeah. Especially seeing as cameras weren't exactly the highest of quality. You don't need to be too detailed.
But if I could just say that you've been incredibly open and polite, so I really enjoy the psychology of this, of approaching people, because the most people that I approach are going to be believing in the heliocentric model. So I appreciate your time that you've given me and been open to listen to something that goes against what you already believe.
Yeah, no, always.
Well, thanks very much, Matt.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Sorry, I don't think I ever asked your name.